Hi everyone, this is Susie from Minnesota Zone 4, and this is going to be my first video for 2020. It's been a bit since I did my last video. I want to say either it was September or October, I'm not even sure. Being from Minnesota, I kind of hibernate through the winter just because there's not a whole lot going on, and we just have long cold winters. But right now, I can't believe it's March already. And the fact that today it's 40 degrees and sunny, it's been kind of nice here. So I don't want to jinx it because I hope it continues and we have an early spring. We're definitely due for that. The last 2 years have been horrible. So fingers crossed that we have actually have a spring. So back in November, I had taken cuttings of a bunch of my Coleus. And I figured today I was going to shoot a video on how to take some Coleus cuttings. And when I took these cuttings, I just used a soilless potting mix and whatever I had on hand. I don't have a preference that I like. I just use whatever I have. So these in front here have gotten a little bit tall, and they have been under grow lights maybe for about 4 or 5 hours a day, just depending. Sometimes I forget to turn them on, but it's Coleus, they're a little bit more forgiving, and I think these are a pretty easy plant to root, at least as far as I'm concerned. Maybe other people have had difficulties, but I love doing this because not only by taking cuttings, it promotes bushiness of your plant, but also it increases your plants. So how can you go wrong there? I took a cutting from this one, and then I'll show you on another one. So you can see this plant here, and it's got pretty much one main stem, and I'm hoping by taking a cutting that I kind of increase the bushiness, because you can see here, oops, sorry, knocked the camera. I've got little leaves coming up here, so I'm hoping it'll start bushing and making just a fuller plant. Fingers crossed, but all in all, it looks like a pretty good plant. And what I did, if you can see, let me just move you over here a little bit. I kind of call this like a little bit like an elbow here, where there's a leaf here, there's another one coming up, there's a main stem, and I'll just cut right there for my cutting. And I have already done that, and so I will show you on another plant here. And basically I'm using these because these plants are they're just getting a little bit tall. I like to keep them kind of all at a certain height. So you can see here. So I'm going to take this cutting right here. Bear with me. I'm trying to do this without cutting myself, but also so you can see what's going on. So right here, I'm just going to clip that stem. I'll set that there, and I'll show you if you can see. They're really tiny, so there's little leaves right in the joint here. And like I said, I hope it just kind of makes for a bushier, stronger plant. And then I'm just going to bend down here. So all of these containers you see here are containers that I just save over the years from when I get plants at greenhouses. They're really nice, sturdy pots, and I recycle everything that I can. Nothing goes to waste. So what I do is I just make sure that they're sterilized, which I do in some bleach. So I use 9 parts water to 1 part bleach. And then after that, I just give it a dunk in a little like soapy water, rinse it, and just let it dry. And then I just keep all these pots from year to year to year. And again, they're really nice pots, so why not? In here, sorry, it's a soilless mix. It's pre-moistened, so it's good to go. It's not saturated to where it's like wet, but it's enough where I'm not going to have to water this. And I know some people will take this and, like right now, just going to clip these leaves off. And I could probably even do another set. So I just have a little bit. So basically, I don't want to leave too many leaves on because I'm trying to promote really good rooting. I don't want all of the energy to going into saving the leaves. So I figured these are gonna start looking a little wilty, a little yucky, but basically what I'm doing with this is just creating a really good root system. So just kind of look here. I might trim off a little bit of the stem. And then, like I was saying before, some people will just take cuttings like this and put them in a jar of water or a glass of water, and then you'll start seeing roots form. It takes a little bit. I think around 2 weeks, at least from my experience, when my plants start kind of bouncing back. And then I firm it just a little bit, not too much. I don't want to pack it down. I want it really nice and loose so those roots just go out and make happy roots. So then when I show you here, this is how close I have this, or how far down. Just making sure my leaves are not in there. And that is my second cutting. So then this one, again, I'm just gonna, and I could probably take more cuttings than this, but right now I'm not overly concerned about how many plants. I have a lot of plants, so I really have to figure out where I'm going to put all of them. I'm going to cut again. I'm just going to clip these leaves off. Alright, so there I've just created 3 new plants, hopefully. It does take a little bit for them to start getting a good root system, and what I will do is these plants right now, I'll just kind of keep out of indirect sunlight for a bit, even my grow lights. I'm not going to put them under. And then I'll just come back every few days and check and see what the moisture level is. Right now I have problems, well last year I had a lot of problems with fungus gnats, so what I usually do with my plants this year is I kind of let that top layer dry out, and then I'll bottom water and just make sure things aren't too wet in here. So fingers crossed, because fungus gnats were really the bane of my existence of growing my seeds. And so I'm a little nervous because right now I'm not too worried about these. They're strong plants, but I do worry when I start my seeds, which will be fairly soon. So hopefully again that this inspires you to do some Coleus cuttings on your own. I mean, like I said, even when I buy some from nurseries, these are some of my favorite plants, but I'll just take some cuttings and root it, and then I make more plants. And then I just kind of clean it up. I'm not going to fertilize these for a long time. And then the other thing I want to say is, with all of these Coleus, I will have to harden them off at some point, and that's just mean getting them used to being outside. And the nice thing about Coleus is they like shade. A lot of these can take a good amount of sun, but I figure for a week they'll probably just go in shade, less shade, a little bit less, then eventually go out to probably not full sun. But I think these will be the easiest of my plants that I have to harden off. So now I'm gonna, bear with me, it might get a little shaky here, and I'm gonna show you what my cuttings look like. Oops, sorry for that noise there. Alright, so first, my little dudes here. Some of these might look a little faded. And once they get a little bit more sun, my grow lights, depending, I might have them on for 5-6 hours. Maybe I'll have them on more, depending. I don't really have a set schedule with this. Let me just go up on my tripod here. All in all, I think they did really good. These right here, I want to say they're wasabi. Not sure, but this has some really nice bushiness to it. And you can see they're pretty uniform in size too. This bucket over here has water in it. And actually that's from my fish tank, so I just use that water to water my plants. I have not fertilized any of these since November. Again, they might have gone into a slow release, or not a slow release, but into a soilless mix with a slow release fertilizer in there. So also I usually know when to put the lights on. When they start looking a little discolored, and you'll know. Swing you here. This is my plant room. It's not very big, but it does the trick. And these, like I said, they were all started at the same time. They're just different types of Coleus, and I forgot the names. I'm so sorry. Some of these I don't. I'm sure I might have the tag somewhere outside. And these are some of my favorite ones. Some of them have been flowering and I just pinch that off. Okay, so hopefully this video inspires you to try some cuttings of your own. And not sure when my next video will be. It might be when I start some seeds. I might take you through that process. I have a lot. But bye for now.